So YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today guys, we'll be showcasing the updated version for the Darklord Despia deck that I recommended a while ago in my previous video. So I already gathered, or I already got all the rewards for the crystals up until 11,000 crystals or points to get the maximum crystals. The tickets, I'm gonna grind that one out in a few days or so. It's not really that important. But anywho, yeah, let's check the deck out if ever I made some minor changes with the Darklord Despia deck. So here we are with the Darklord Despia deck. So the minor changes that I made with the deck is removing the copy of Dark Ruler No More and adding the 3 copies of Royal Decree. Now, after my first 2 games during the event, I immediately foresaw, or basically on my previous video, I already foresaw that people are gonna use Labyrinth, and I updated my deck after my first 2 games. So the first 2 games were Labyrinth as well, so immediately I removed the Dark Ruler No More and just added Royal Decree into it. Once this card is on the field or face up on the field, your opponent cannot activate any trap cards. That includes you as well, but majority of the time, your trap cards will be activated in the graveyard. I'll explain later on. It's basically a dark card stuff. But yeah, those are the minor changes. We're still going to be playing with Despia monsters, of course, 2 Aliburs, 1 Dramaturge, and 1 copy of Ad Libitum. Yeah, majority of the cards here are basically Despia and Darklords. 1 copy of Ukobak, 1 copy of Darklord Capricious, 3 copies of Indulge Darklord, and so on and so forth. The key thing that you need to take note about the Darklords is that, Superbia has its timings. Now, if ever you summon this with an effect of only the Darklord contact, you can immediately summon another Darklord monster from your graveyard to your side of the field. Or you can use also the effect of the first Darklord. As long as you don't miss the timing, you can immediately summon that specific Darklord from the graveyard. If, however, you will use the effect of Eggshell or any other Darklord monster level 5 or higher that copies an effect of contact from the graveyard, you will miss the timing for Superbia because you still need to recycle or spin back that card that you copied from the graveyard, and then you'll use the effect of Superbia, missing the timing in general. So take note for that. Other card that you need to take note is also Indulge Darklord. So once you activated the effect of Indulge Darklord, you can no longer use the effect of any non-fairy monster on the field. So if ever you're planning on spell summoning Nightmare Phoenix or Nightmare Unicorn, they won't prompt the effect. They can be spell summoned, but they won't prompt the effect. So that's one key thing there. Also, if you use the first effect of Darklord, the nuke, then you can't use the effect of the Monster Reborn in its effect. So I think that's basically it, the major stuff and the minor stuff for the Darklord deck. Let's move on to the replays and I'll showcase you guys how fun this deck really is during the event. So let's go right to it. Alright guys, so here we are with the replays. Our first replay, we have Indulge, 1 Alibur Jester Despia, Darklord Superbia, and Darklord Contact, which of course we have also Uprising. So Uprising is kind of a garnet. We don't want that one on our hand, but we want it in our graveyard. So we just need an Eggshell. Our opponent is going first, and we are going up against the Labyrinth. Like I said, it is a Labyrinth event. So our opponent is going to use Chandelier, getting a copy of Big Welcome, and I think the face-down card is a compulsory. But yeah, using the effect of Ariana, search out a copy of Lady, and Lady will be special summoned to the field. So that is his board right there. So during my turn, I draw into another copy of Alibur, which is not really the best of choice right here. So my thought process here is, if ever I summon Alibur, get a copy of the field spell, he can just, I was worried that the other card might be a compulsory or any monster removal. So once the Big Welcome will be used on the field, and then spell summoning the Lady Labyrinth, he can just pop my field spell. So I won't have any card to use on, so I'm just gonna be annihilated on the next turn. So my only choice here is going for Indulge Darklord, which of course allows us into more plays. So Indulge into sending or spell summoning Capricious to his side is the best play here, and getting a copy of Eggshell. Now I was worried if this other face down was an Imperm, so gladly it wasn't. And there we go. Capricious to his side of the field. he will then use the effect of Lovely Labyrinth and then Ariana, and then trigger all of the Labyrinth cards for that matter. So we have one other face-up card. He will then spell summon also Lady Labyrinth on the field, and the compulsory just hits. So he's just eager to use the effect of compulsory here. So I'm worried now, if ever he'll use the effect of Lovely Labyrinth and then hits my eggshell, I immediately scoop onto this. But if he hits another card that is not eggshell, we are good to go. So we are good here. And I think he hits here Superbia, which was what we really need in the graveyard. So we go for eggshell, sending the uprising to the grave. Doesn't really matter what he does on his part here because we managed to pull off the greatest play here for the Dark Lords. So eggshell into one copy of Banishment, and Banishment is what we really need for this play to work. So Banishment will get a copy of the Dark Lord Morningstar, and with the contact, spell summoning Superbia, and then with the Superbia, spell summoning the eggshell. So once eggshell is on the field, copy the effect of Uprising. We fuse with the 3 masters on the field and on hand into the first Dark Lord. So the first Dark Lord on the field, once it's used Dark Lord Morningstar as its fusion material, you can nuke the board. And there we go. And with the Capricious sent to the graveyard, he loses 1000 attack and defense for his monsters, allowing us to go out an immediate wipe. We are setting one Sanctified Dark Lord as well for a negate if ever he summons a Dark Lord monster. So that is why we have Indulge on hand, and on the next turn we go for an Aliber. So before he ends his turn, we go Spell Summon Superbia. I could have gone with the eggshell here, but there were no good targets at this point on. But yeah, I think he just wanted to end the game here, so I'm not gonna go combo it off. So on our turn, we got a copy of Banishment still. Doesn't really matter. We're just ending the game at this point. There we go. Our first game. Or our first replay. Alright, so for our second replay, we have Indulge, we have Nastin, 1 Superbia, 1 Dramaturge, and 1 Dark Lord Rebellion. So we don't want Rebellion on our hand as well. So most of the trap cards we don't want on our hand. But I think the pricing must be in the graveyard other than the other two. I think the other two is kind of okay if ever you have it on hand. But anywho, we are starting first and we go start our combo with Indulge. So Indulge, going to the side of the field, Capricious, and getting a copy of Eggshell, our normal play. So one thing, or sending a Capricious to his side, allows us or protects us from any interruption like an Imperm, or basically protects our monsters during his turn on a negate like an Imperm, or destruction like, Lightning Storm. So that is really good to have on this side of the field. And if ever Capricious will be removed, his monsters will lose 500 attack and defense, depending on the number of fairy monsters that I have on the field, or basically on the general field. So we have Eggshell. Use the effect of Eggshell here, sending a copy of Superbia, which we really want in the graveyard. So we got a copy of, we got another copy of Eggshell and Royal Decree. So not really the best of hand to draw into, but nevertheless, we're going up against Labyrinth, so this is a perfect deck. This is a perfect hand to go into. So normal summoning Ariana, getting a copy of Kuklak. So we managed to get out a trap card here with the help of the Stovey. Getting a copy of Welcome Labyrinth. Use the effect of Kuklak. I'm just waiting for this to happen, by the way. So on the Welcome Labyrinth, I use the effect of Royal Decree. So negating the effect and basically stops all the trap cards on his trap. So yeah, he's gonna go for the Nightmare Phoenix here. Which, of course, I should have changed earlier once I have activated the effect of Royal Decree. But yeah, it's too late. I forgot that people are using Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus during this event. So yeah, that's one mistake that I really made for this play. But nevertheless, he pops my Decree. And with my Capricious, deducts 500 to his attack and defense. Or just attack because he's selling. So anywho, I'll use the effect of Dark Lord Rebellion, popping that back row, and we have a clear field, basically. So in our turn, we draw into a copy of Contact. We use the effect of Eggshell, sending Nest to the graveyard. We go for Banishment, getting a copy of Okubak. Okubak from a sub to the field. We send the Uprising to the graveyard. use the effect of Contact, spell summon our Superbia, and then Superbia will spell summon the Eggshell. Eggshell will then copy a copy of Uprising in our graveyard, and we fuse into the first Darklord. So there we go. So we can't nuke because there was no Morningstar in its material, but we can Monster Reborn. So Monster Reborn into Superbia, and then with that, we spell summon our Nassin. And with this point on, copy the effect of the Rebellion, we pop one card. And we go for an OTK. That's it. Our second game. Our second replay. I keep on saying game. Alright guys, so here we are with our last replay. And we are going first with Aliber, 1 Reasoning, 2 copies of Banishment, and 1 Evenly Matched. So what we need here is an Eggshell to drop off another copy of Banishment to the graveyard. So that's what we will do. Go for Eggshell. Use the effect of Eggshell, sending the Banishment, getting a copy of Branded Red. Really good though, and a 1 Decree. And we're going first, so insanely good. You use the effect of Reasoning, and then we have 2 cards that is really significant in the graveyard, which is the Contact. Use the effect of Eggshell, getting a copy of another Contact. Why did I do that? But yeah, going for normal summoning into Aliber, getting a copy of the Field Spell. So this was really bad on my part that I did not read the Contact effect. So it could be another monster, but yeah, it was really bad on my part. We set our Branded in Red and a copy of Royal Decrease. So good. Really, really good. He will Cosmic my Field Spell, and we are going up against Time Lord. So very bad. Luckily, it's not the other Time Lords that shovels back the monsters. So on his end turn, we go for Royal Decree. So the key thing against Time Lords, you don't want to go attacking them. So we just need to summon a ton of monsters to the field. So Reasoning again, go for Eggshell to the field. Eggshell will then use the effect of Banishment, getting a copy of Indulge. Indulge will then spell summon Capricious and getting a copy of Nastin. And then we go for Condemn. So Condemn here will discard 1 card, getting a copy of another monster, which is Superbia, because we need to have this in the graveyard though. So there we go. Nastin will be spell summoned. Use the effect of Nastin, get a copy of Indulge to the field, and we go for Branded in Red. Use that, and then spell summon into our very own second copy of Masquerade. So yeah, taxing the monster or our opponent every time he uses the effect. So at this point, we got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 monsters on the board. That gives us 2,000 to our life points, or 500 for each fairy monster on the field. Our opponent is gonna bounce back the Raffion, and then he'll just need to summon another Time Lord monster. At this point, he can't spell summon the monster though because he used the effect of Duality, so might as well gonna go for a spell card. So end his turn there and use the effect of Nassin, getting a copy of Eggshell to the field, recycling back our Contact. And like this, we are winning. But I think he's scooped here. So yeah, really insane. That is our last replay. Let's move towards the outro. Alright, so those were the replays, and this was the deck profile. Hope you enjoyed this kind of content. Like and subscribe for more contents. We'll be talking about Unchained later on, or one of the most cheapest deck for the event. So stay tuned and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Baboosh!